So remember that silhouette of a guy that appeared just after the Earth blew up? Apparently he's our final enemy, and we're going to be going through an asteroid belt to get to him. Now this section is really annoying, because see all these asteroids? They're background. However, there are actual asteroids that we have to get through and can hurt us, like these. You can kind of see them. They do stand out a little bit, both color-wise and the way they move, and sometimes size-wise as well. However, the stage is moving so fast that sometimes you just really can't notice them easily. Because trust me, this definitely made me a bit dizzy just looking at this. I'm not fond of the background, especially the way it's used. So you're probably going to take a few hits here. Thankfully, reflecting all these asteroids will refill your health, and it has some pretty big health pellets as well. That being said, I also got hurt a lot, so it kind of evened out. So this is actually the Destroyer prototype. Remember that thing we fought on the ice planet last time? Yeah, that was Mark II. This is Mark I. Now, this battle is actually a bit easier just because, well, I mean, first off, that other one was Mark II, where this is the prototype, but more importantly, you can freely move around. Now, this guy does have attacks that could potentially be a bit more difficult just because he fires all around him, and, well, actually, no, that attack is pretty easy to avoid, but other than that, yeah, he's very easy. If you can't dash out of the way of the lasers, just stick between them, you'll be fine. It's really not much of a problem at all. I'm just completely destroying him with my normal shot. Ooh, gonna want to avoid that though. Those lasers are hard to see, so it might be a little harder to avoid them. Plus the fact that that attack is also pretty fast. It'll probably catch you off guard the first time, just because of how fast it moves, but the second time shouldn't be too bad. Ooh, this is, however, a boss in which you don't have a lot of time to actually fight it, so let's just finish it off with Lancer Force quickly, and be done with it. Now, I don't remember what the next section is, actually. I remember the one after this. Oh yeah, these guys. I probably shouldn't really be using this. I should probably just be using homing and trying to avoid this, but yeah, these guys will be firing at you and there'll be missiles. You can parry these, of course. Well, you can try. Personally, I'd try to stick more towards the center of the screen if you want to destroy those shots, just because they hit my feet a lot. Again, I could be at full health, but no, I just got to get hit a whole bunch and lose a whole lot of health. Alright, so what is the next boss? We don't have a lot of time for it, I can tell you that. That's a little bit annoying how they made time limits of difficulty. Oh, this guy sucks. Because again, you don't have a lot of time, and this guy's got a lot of health, and he moves around a lot, and is hard to hit, and will hit you a lot. I don't care for this guy. Oh yeah, he sends out his body parts, and they kind of just teleport around for some reason. I don't get how this attack works, but whatever, I'll roll with it. But yeah, we only have a minute left to fight this guy, and he hasn't lost much of his health. You'll definitely want to keep a lot of Lancer Force for this, don't waste it on the previous section. Oh, and of course he guards a lot. Why wouldn't he? Homing, not the best for this, just because it'll hit him constantly, but it doesn't do that much damage. So yeah, oh, and he's got a flamethrower, but I don't think this is problematic, especially since you can actually do that, which is nice. Flamethrower might be useful, maybe, I'm not actually quite sure about that. You definitely want to use gold form for that, though. Otherwise, because of how much you're running in this battle, you're not going to be landing many hits on him, so definitely make sure to be keeping this up. The problem with gold form, as you might have noticed, is it's not the best for Lancer, because in order to use gold form and for it to actually be effective, you have to hold down the attack button. Of course, you want your shots with Lancer to be more precise, which isn't really allowed by gold form. You kind of just have to fire everywhere, and since this guy's hitbox is so small, well, it's not very easy to hit him. I really don't like this guy, especially since there are only 17 seconds left. 16, 15, 14, oh boy. Thankfully, though, we're just about done here, so as long as we can do enough damage in 10 seconds, which we did, we'll be fine. Oh boy. Yeah, I don't like that boss much at all. It relies more on the time limit to be difficult, and in general it's just not very fun. I believe this also means we have the boss already, and this guy has the best name in the game, Wolf Gunblood. He also rides a horse in, and he has a gun. Now, unfortunately this isn't a very fun battle either, because there are a whole lot of problems here. Now let's see if I can remember why I don't like this. That shot's hard to dodge at first just because you want to go back and forth. It's kind of a homing shot. Now, you can actually destroy these pillars right here. That being said, though, that is very risky, though worth it because you might get a Phoenix Dash out of it if you heal yourself up enough. But it does a lot of damage if you get hit by the pillars, which was why I wasn't going out of my way to actually avoid those. Oh, these are the ones you can destroy as well. You can destroy both, but whenever he either ducks or jumps, yeah, you're going to want to look out for what he does so you can either dodge or counterforce in whatever manner you need. Yeah, you need to destroy these. I wouldn't actually suggest, like, switching up. Like, if the platforms were to be at the top, I'd stay down, not go back up. Or if you're at the top and the little things you have to destroy are at the bottom, then just stay there, because moving into place can really risk you getting hits. Thankfully, though, I actually played that pretty well, and now he's got a pretty good chunk of his health gone. He's got a lot of it, though, so even though we have 3 minutes for this fight, it's a little bit risky. Also, can I just say I fucking love the animation of the horse when it's crawling. That is fantastic. This also isn't my favorite song, either. It's okay, but I don't think it fits this fight that much. It's too slow, I think, when we're just flying along this giant robot horse piloted by some weird gunman alien. It's pretty great, but music's too subdued for this. You know, looking at it, this isn't actually too bad. I don't exactly remember what gave me so much trouble. I don't know, maybe just the thing in its entirety was kind of difficult. I can't say for sure, though, destroying the platforms or the barriers or whatever can be pretty finicky. So, even if you do try to destroy them with counterforce, you might not be successful in doing so. Hey, I don't think you slapped your horse right there, good sir. Hey, honestly, sometimes it just doesn't seem like he telegraphs enough. I guess that's just the fault of the animation not playing. It wasn't done on purpose or anything, but still annoying. I don't care for it. Also, I forget if they gesture in the direction that the bears are going to be, or if you just have to react to it yourself. Also, past me, you might want to change your weapon. You're kind of out of force there. There you go. Hey. So like I said, we're at 1:30 and he's still not dead yet. Which is why I was worried about this. Because, man, even when you do well, or, well, I wouldn't say this is doing well, but if you do decently enough, even then, he's gonna end up taking a while. And I think one of the big things about this battle is, before you know you can just dash back and forth below him, you try to dodge up and down, which absolutely does not work. Because again, that's a homing shot, and he will hit you if you try to avoid it like that. That's why I've spent most of the battle beneath him rather than in front of him or behind him. Just because that makes it harder for him to hit you. Makes it harder for you to hit him as well, but you know what? Sacrifices have to be made. And he's dead now. Alright, we're actually very close to the end. That being said, we have one more boss before we get to, I guess, the mastermind? Is he the mastermind, or is he just, like, taking advantage of all this? Is it a coincidence that he's here? Oh, who knows. Alright, so this guy's basically just going to fire missiles at you. He also has those lasers, so While he's firing missiles constantly, you do have to pay attention to when you're actually hitting him, otherwise you'll get hit anyway. You be careful of dodging, because of course you might hit a missile, and also be aware that you can move this platform yourself. That's me doing that, which is why every time I fire, the elevator shifts a little bit. So yeah, that is one of the more difficult things to remember, and I actually got my ass kicked by this guy at first until I realized that, just because otherwise you're going to get hit by him at the top. Even then, though, you do have to watch out for how you're actually hitting him, just because if you keep on holding down, you're eventually just going to send yourself right into him, or make it harder for you to dodge his attacks. Because, of course, this also determines how far you are away from the missiles. So if you attack him too much without moving back up, you're going to make it harder for you to actually avoid his shots. I also have to say, avoiding these things and hitting him at the same time, also pretty difficult. For the same reasons, you might accidentally send your platforms up into this dude's little electric barrier things. It is pretty easy to hit him here, though, which, you know, is kind of why you want to go for that sort of thing. It's a little bit risky, but it pays off. And, oof, yeah, this isn't the best thing. Homing is very helpful here, but we are done. Didn't need homing to finish him off. That being said, though, that does allow you to actually attempt to dodge him yourself without risking sending the elevator into him. However, we're at the final stage of the game. We have a health refill. Thank goodness for that. You might also be wondering what I'm doing here. Well, I'm actually emptying out my weapons. I figured Lancer would actually be the easier thing to do that with, but you're not actually going to want any weapon energy here, because
emergency.
this is Z-Leo, and he's actually weak to counterforce. Of course, having a health refill is nice, being sure not to waste that Phoenix Dash. You can also parry pretty much any of his shots, such as that one. That was very poor. You can counterforce those if you'd like, and you do get health for this. You might want to build that up so you can get some Phoenix Dash. You do have to counter that one pretty quickly, though, because it gets away from you fairly fast. I believe I should be able to get it this time, yeah. He is very patterned, so it's easy to see coming. It's just, it's not exactly the easiest thing to do because it moves so quickly and you have to be in the exact correct position. Otherwise, you either miss or you get hit yourself. You should probably aim to not let the latter happen. It does, however, do a lot of damage to hit him with that. Of course, you also want to just pay attention to the fact that counterforce is very short-ranged and doesn't do much damage at all. Actually, I'm not sure that's just counterforce, because counterforce is that when I actually reflect a thing. Maybe it's just counterforce automatically activating just because I'm out of a weapon. Nope, here's his ultimate attack. So yeah, his super attack, he flings the platform up into the air and fires lasers at you. This is actually pretty difficult to avoid, and it's quite the lengthy attack as well. He can use it more than once per battle as well, which kinda sucks. Basically, just make sure you don't dash into any lasers and hopefully you'll be fine, but yeah, he can use it, which definitely prolongs the battle, and is also terrifying when he does, just because that attack is very likely to kill you. And I could have ended the battle there, but nonetheless, I ended it there instead. So that's Z-Leo defeated. I guess he was really evil or something. I don't know. Again, the intro never actually mentions Z-Leo. So, despite the fact that every other major boss was foreshadowed in that introduction, this guy wasn't, but he was the main villain, so I don't even know where he comes in to this very complex story of Alien Soldier, but Then again, that does make sense. These are historical details, so perhaps not everything was recorded. I highly doubt anyone was really able to record this whole event, considering it happened in space. I mean, not a lot of people could record it considering Earth blew up, but, they got everything else right. I don't know, maybe this is just a tall tale by Mr. Alan Soldier here. Oh, after I beat Seven Force, there was actually this giant lion robot guy, and he shot lasers, and I dodged him. It was really cool. Anyway, that's the end of Alien Soldier. A very historically accurate take on the year 2015. It's really surprising how they managed to figure that out so long before 2015 actually happened, But of course, in addition to being incredibly educational, Alien Soldier is also a really fun game, because as I've said before, while not all the bosses are perfect, and I'm sure you could tell quite a few of them annoyed me, it's still a damn fun game, and it's really well designed even for that, because it does give you breaks in between. Of course, it's very similar to Gunstar Heroes in that you get to choose your own weaponry, which is pretty great, and while a few things aren't obvious, like you might not immediately notice that you get more ammo from grabbing one weapon while another is already in your inventory, and oh yeah, by the way, the Earth is fine now. Yeah, that's not exactly the most obvious thing. You kind of have to figure out yourself, otherwise you'll just have an inventory full of Lancer forces, which, to be fair, if you upgraded them all to have 2,000, that would be pretty helpful. But yeah, music's pretty good. It's a good looking game, plays well. These credits will go on for a little while longer, but honestly, I think I've said most of what I want to say about this game. Good bosses, really fun game, even if it does annoy me a lot. So that was Alien Soldier. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you next time for whatever I do next.